Hi friends, it's Kelly from Mathematically Enthused, and I'm going to talk to you today about my plans for the first days of school. I historically have been a sixth grade teacher as well as third and as low as kindergarten, but these plans are really going to be for my fourth, fifth, and sixth grade students. This year I'm going to be in a math intervention setting, so I'm planning on doing the same thing with that fourth, fifth, and sixth grade with some adaptations. But I want to talk a little bit about this so I can talk about how I structure my 40-minute math period. If your math period is longer, your timing might be a little bit different, but these are my first days of school. So on those first days of school, my plan is to really establish routines. A bell ringer or do now is always at the top of my class, and it is always timed with a 5-minute timer. On the first day of school, I'm going to have them answer a math mindset survey so I know where they're coming from and how they feel about math, and that's going to help me figure out where we can work on mindset as a class and individually. Typically, we then review our bell ringer, which we won't need to do with our math mindset survey on the first day. That is timed as well. I'm skipping over that for now because of course, on the first day, we're going to discuss our routines and our structure of our class. I'm going to get them to Google Classroom to sign up or log in to my classroom. I have a one-to-one school, so I'm in a position where if I link them to our home site, they should easily be able to find my Google Classroom, which is great. After that, we'll talk about the whys of math. Why do we do math and why is it important? And then we'll transition into a read aloud of Math Curse by John Sheska, which is one of my absolute favorite picture books. It really is to die for, I have to tell you. So if you get a chance, watch it on YouTube and then buy it because you're going to want to after you watch it. Then we're going to start the Math is Everywhere project by creating a brainstorm list together. This is really important because this is where I'm going to be able to start to really build relationships with my students and find out a little bit about their interests outside of school. Last, on the first day, they'll complete an individual brainstorm, which will be timed and aligned with that bell at the end of the day so that they can get out and complete things in a timely fashion and start to learn more about the structure of class. So, I use a 5-minute timer that I find on YouTube. This one, for example, plays some spa-like music. Typically, I would play that low in the background while they work on their do now activity. On the first day, they're going to come in, they're going to take this math mindset survey. The results will come to me, and I could start to gauge their feelings about math and how I can help them kind of overcome that. When that is done, I'll introduce them to the Would You Rather task cards. So this is going to function as our bell ringer or our do now at the very least for the month of September so they can get used to this routine. Basically, they're going to have an open-ended math question. There is no correct answer to this question as long as they're using mathematical reasoning to justify their response. Yes, there could be calculation errors, but that's an opportunity for us to talk about mistakes and an opportunity for me to intervene in any mathematical errors that might be occurring that I can help support them with in math class. When they're done, this A-B option will generate data for me so I can speak with the group about what the more popular choice was and what did we glean from the graph and how is that math and why is it important. Then we'll transition into that why of math. I highly recommend Math Curse. I can't say it enough, guys. I last purchased it in 2019 because way back in 2018, a student borrowed it and it was never returned to me, and in the shuffle of things I looked for it for about a year and couldn't find it, so of course I bought it again. It's worth every penny. Very humorous, very fun. Then we'll start to talk about Math is Everywhere. Now this project can be done digital or printable. I'm going to use the digital component of it just to get my students used to using all of the different functions of Google Slides. So in the beginning of the year, we'll talk about why is math everywhere? How does it relate to math course? And what are some activities that you do that relate to math? So I'm not going to have them type the bulleted list here because what we're going to do is use Nearpod. And as you can see here, I've already entered one word on the Collaborate board, which is weightlifting. Another thing might be walking, cooking, and your students can generate these ideas. And if you have a large class, let's say you have 30 kids in there, there might be some overlap, but you might also have 30 different options when the kids get to their individual brainstorms. So after we have this good brainstorm list, we'll start to flesh out what it means to complete this project and what they'll need to do. So I'll use my weightlifting example and talk about how I use each of these 4 types of math in weightlifting. What am I tracking? What data am I using? And then my students won't get to this part today because they'll go to this part here, where now, as their exit ticket on this day, they'll have an opportunity to start to list things that they do and think about the math that comes from that. So if they're horseback riders, where is the math in horseback riding? Is it in feeding the horse? Is it in the distance traveled? Is it in the amount of hours dedicated? So we're going to talk a lot about that on those first days. So that's really my whole first day of class. This will lead into the second day, the kids going into creating their graphic, and we'll discuss the rubric as well. Let me pull back to show you the rubric. It's a 1-point rubric so that the students can self-assess and decide if they have done exactly what they were supposed to do. And as a teacher, I can also provide contact list feedback by dragging and dropping these arrows or typing in the box here. Again, that's going to be easier with your older students, your probably 5th and 6th grade students who spent a lot more time on technology last year, but it's a great option to have. So that's really my first 2 days of instruction, is math is everywhere and lots of math mindset. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I do, please reach out to me. You can find me at Mathematically Enthused on Instagram and mathematicallyenthused@gmail.com, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you.